Devonte Graham is easily one of the surprise stories of the season. In just his second year, the Hornets guard is top 10 in the NBA with about 8 assists per game, and only James Harden has made more threes. In fact, he became just the 4th player in NBA history with 50 threes and 100 assists in his team's first 15 games. So obviously Devonte Graham is extremely talented, but he also came into this year extremely doubted. Lucky for him, that is nothing new for Devonte Graham. In this video, we're going to talk about the years of adversity that went into his breakout success and what it means for his NBA future. Hey guys, Casey Kiernan here from the AM Hoops YouTube channel. We're trying to grow this channel. Hit us with a subscribe because every sub counts at this point, and we appreciate them all. And if you love the league, like in detail, check out the AM Hoops podcast Monday through Friday. We go over every single NBA game so you're always up to date. Maybe the best quote to explain Devonte Graham's success comes from his NBA head coach, James Borrego. Quote, "He's got a confidence about him, and I think that comes when people may not believe in you." That's exactly right. Devonte Graham has been doubted his entire life. You could say that he was born to fail, but he's overcome the odds every single time. His mother, Dewana King, was just 14 years old when Devonte was born. Kids like that are not supposed to make it. In fact, a recent study said that kids born to teen parents are more likely to experience poverty. They're 13% more likely to go to prison, let alone the NBA or even college. Like a lot of kids though, basketball was gonna be the way out. One problem? Devonte was just 5'6" as a junior at Broughton High School in Raleigh, North Carolina. He played on an AAU team called Gardner Road, but wasn't close to a star there either. But Devonte had enough talent for one school to offer him a scholarship, and as soon as they did, he signed. Devonte Graham on his way to Appalachian State. But that one issue that he used to have was not an issue anymore. Instead of 5'6", by the time he was a senior, Devonte grew to 6 foot tall on his way to 6'2". With that added height and experience, his skills and swagger grew. All of a sudden, more prominent programs took notice and wanted Devonte at their school, but App State wasn't having it. Mountaineers coach Jason Capel refused to release Devonte from his letter of intent. He recently reflected on all this and told NBA.com, "After I said I didn't want to go and they wanted to force me to go, that made me definitely not want to go. I just wanted to reopen my recruitment process. Maybe they had seen something other coaches hadn't seen, so maybe they thought they found a diamond in the rough. People do things that make them better that sometimes might hurt somebody else." Devonte, his family, and mentors refused to give up though. He enrolled at Brewster Academy, a prep school in New Hampshire. This would hopefully put him in more of a spotlight, other schools would take notice, and maybe put some pressure on App State. The decision to go to Brewster ended up being crucial to his development as a hooper. Devonte averaged 17 points at Brewster alongside new teammate Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell, of course, would have his own unexpected breakout success with the Utah Jazz, but in high school, the two won the 2014 National Prep Championship. Winning that prep title was sweet, but not as significant as what happened that coming April. Jason Capel was fired at Appalachian State. They replaced him with new head coach Jim Fox, and at that point, the Mountaineers decided to release Devonte from his commitment. Graham's recruitment process was back on, and some of the top schools in the country were waiting. Devonte's top 3 were Virginia, NC State, and Kansas, but he chose the Jayhawks for 2 very important reasons. The first, KU coach Bill Self stood out among the rest, and the second, the team offered opportunity. The Jayhawks needed a point guard after losing 3 players to graduation and 3 major talents to the NBA, including Joel Embiid and Andrew Wiggins.
19-14, now a steal. Mason kept it alive before he went out of bounds. Ahead to Graham, he lays it in.
Graham's time at Kansas was a period of growth and success. As a senior, he averaged over 17 points and 7 assists per game. He helped the Jayhawks to a Final Four and won the Big 12 Player of the Year. In his 4 years, they went 122-27. Not exactly an underdog story at this point, but then the script flipped again. He entered the NBA draft as a 4-year college player at 23 years old. And in the age of one and done, guys like that certainly aren't lottery picks, and they hardly last in the NBA.
The Atlanta Hawks select Devonte Graham.
Devonte, though, ended up as a high second-round pick, 34th overall, and he got on the Hornets through a draft night trade with Atlanta. Finally, Devonte Graham had made it. That 5'6" kid born into a rough situation who only got one scholarship offer at one point was in the NBA. Kind of. He spent a lot of that first year with Charlotte's G League team. When he was with the big team, things weren't looking so great. He played in only about half the games and started just 3. Devonte made just 34 threes that season and shot 28% from downtown. The real positive, though, was being mentored by 2 great point guards in Kemba Walker and Tony Parker. Still, Devonte had a ton of work to do. In the summer before this season, he focused on that 3 ball. To track his improvement, Devonte would count made threes in a 100-shot session. He went from 50 makes out of 100 to 60 to 70 plus. But while he was doing work that summer, so was the Hornets front office. They clearly didn't think Devonte was their point guard of the near future, because when Kemba Walker left for the Celtics, they signed Terry Rozier to a 4-year, $57 million deal to be their starter. And that must have been a gut punch for Devonte, but not exactly unexpected. I mean, he didn't show a whole lot as a pro to that point. The good thing for Devonte was he's always allowed other people's doubt to fuel his success, and it took him just 11 games into this season to force himself into the starting lineup.
Graham goes backdoor. Graham puts up a 3. Oh, it's good!
How did he do it? Well, Devonte's 13.3 points added from last year to this year is tops in the NBA in terms of scoring bumps. That's more than Luka Doncic, Aaron Baines, his teammate Terry Rozier, and last season's most improved Pascal Siakam. And about that 3 ball, yeah, only James Harden has made more than Devonte Graham, but Devonte is more efficient. The Beard shoots 35% from deep, while Devonte shoots 41%. And Harden has taken about 100 more threes this year. But even with this giant jump from year 1 to year 2, there were questions about how he would work as a starter and if there'd be friction between him and Terry Rozier, who was signed to big money to be their starter. But luckily for everyone, Terry Rozier was cool with it. He said, quote, "This is the way the NBA is going. 2 guards who can both start on offense like CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard." Now that is a backcourt duo to look up to. Both guys are starting, even though it might not be a long-term solution. But this year, the team has definitely broken through expectations. One thing that is clear is Devonte is here to stay. He is on the 2nd year of a 3-year deal worth just $4 million. Now, under NBA rules, Graham's contract can't be extended until at least 2 years after it was signed, and he signed it in July of 2018. And at that point on this trajectory, Devonte will earn a new deal in the tens of millions and be set for life. As for his basketball life, what's in his future? Is it an all-star someday? At least a 3-point contest invitation to this all-star weekend. Whatever happens, after this season, no one will ever call Devonte Graham an underdog again.
Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a weekly NBA video.